All right, welcome back everybody to another edition of Chasing Ghosts. This is the video series where I talk about those hard to find, those impossible to find comics, those things you just don't come across when you're flipping through the boxes at your LCS, those really tough books that are out there that you just don't see every day. Hopefully you like this content as well as the rest of the stuff here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing this channel and keep doing more giveaways. Speaking of which, we do have a giveaway tomorrow, so join us for the Tax Show Live Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with me and Marco. We're going to be talking about Spider-Gwen tier list battle up against America Chavez. Should be a lot of fun. Got some Spider-Gwen prizes to give away. I got a comic and a toy that could be all yours, and all you got to do is join the live chat and you will have a shot at winning that. Plus it's a heck of a good time. That chat is a blast and it's a lot of fun, so come join the show and yeah, get a chance to win some stuff. Now, with that all being said, I'm kind of following up again on some more Spidey books, this time for Chasing Ghosts. I did Running for Covers with the 50th anniversary yesterday, and there were still a few more Spidey books that I just kind of wanted to kind of cover, with the hoopla of how much No Way Home actually, did at the box office last week. And it was well earned, because I did happen to go see it, and it is a pretty decent movie, and I recommend you going and checking it out. I can't wait to go check it out again. Now, if you want to see what books we have coming up next, just hang on for a few seconds after the break, and I'll be right back. All right, so as I already kind of mentioned there in the tease open there, our topic for today are going to be some more Spider-Man books. Yeah, I don't know. No Way Home was pretty good. I enjoyed it. So got Spider-Man fresh on the brain. So let's get through some of these variants and some hard to find little oddball Spider-Man books that you can or can't find out there on the market. We're going to jump around from Miles to some $20.99, some stuff with some cassette tapes, some mail-aways, Canadian price variant mixed in, just a hodgepodge of things, all things Spider-Man coming at you in the next few minutes. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to that, because I'm looking forward to digging in with this. Now, our first one's going to be an incentive variant, and as I mentioned, we're talking about Miles. So this is Miles Morales, the Ultimate Spider-Man, issue 1. This, I believe, was the second run of Miles' title, so a volume 2 for him. His first issue. Pretty cool. Fiona Staples cover, one you just don't see. I dig it, between the two taxi cabs. It's a pretty cool image of and something different, something you didn't see Peter Parker doing. So it's a unique cover image for Miles, and I kind of like that. Now, as I kind of mentioned, this is from this is a 1 in 50 incentive. This is from May 2014, and then, like I said, it's Fiona Staples cover. The estimated print run for the full book is a little over 45,000. So when you do that quick math, we were talking about possibly 917 copies of this incentive variant being out there, which ain't a whole heck of a lot. I mean, it's not a tiny number, but it's not a huge number either. And if we look at the census for this, there is a decent amount already for this book in the census out of those potential 917 copies, with 148 total in the census, with 115 9.8s, 23 9.6s, and a few others going down that list. So there is a healthy number of submissions, but still not too bad. It's not like we're talking 50% of the run. There's still a lot out there floating around potentially that haven't been submitted. So keep that in mind as well. If we want to see what this thing gets listed for, if you want to go shopping for one, well, good luck, because there are none. I looked. I tried to search for this a few different ways. I couldn't find a copy out there right now for purchase. So that was definitely interesting. And even when you look at what actually recently sold in the last 3 months, there were only 2. There was a best offer on $1,250, and there was a 9.8 that sold at auction with one bid at $2,500, and that best offer accepted was for $1,000. So this was not a cheap book for either sale. So this is not a cheap book and not an easy one to find, as you can see evidenced by not only what we have available, which are none, what actually sold, which are only 2, And like I said, just potential 900 copies with only about 150 in the census. Not too bad for this one. Definitely not too bad. Which is going to take us to our next, as I also mentioned, Spider-Man 2099, who we will see in Miles' next Across the Spider-Verse animated movie. I love this J.G. Jones cover. This is one of my favorites of his. I do not have this book. I wish that I did. It's gorgeous. The texture on this thing between the webbing and the suit, it's almost like you could touch it. It's fantastic looking. This is for Superior Spider-Man number 17. This is also, I believe, a 1 in 50 incentive variant from 2013, September 2013. So this is also still a ways back. And the estimated print run on this title is a healthy number, 89,000 plus on the regular title for Superior Spider-Man. And this is when Doc Ock was handling the reins, and we had a little crossover here with Spider-Man 2099. So the incentive, if you do that quick math, is going to be potentially 1,700 plus copies. So almost twice as many copies as the Fiona Staples cover for this particular one. So that is kind of crazy, but still, you don't see a lot of them out there. You really don't. And there are a lot less, well, not a lot less, but there are less copies of this in the census than that Staples book. When we look at, there's only 118 of those 1,700 potential copies in the census right now, with only 51 9/8s, 35 9/6s, 18 9/4s, and then a few others filling out that full amount. If you want to go shopping for one of these right now and see what's actually out there on the market, you do have some options. So there are some copies out there for you to buy. You can drop $800 to $1,000 for a 9.8 if you were so inclined, or $500, $475 for raw copies. So a $500 raw copy now. This didn't used to be that expensive, but apparently it is now. Wow. Don't know if I'm ever going to be able to add this one to my collection at those prices, but if we look at what actually sold, we can also see, well, a 9.8 took a best offer on $1,000. Looks like there's a 9.4 that's over 370. A couple of raws that took some best offers, and then a raw for 175. I did get those accepted prices as well. So that 9.8 accepted $799. It's not too bad. So still around $800, and those other raws accepted $125 and $210 respectively. So still pretty pricey. We're talking about $125 is the cheapest that was out there. That's not that cheap. Not that cheap. But there were copies sold and there were copies available. So it is there. This is just one of those hard to find but pricey books. And sticking with 2099 Spider-Man, I have this other cover that I really do like. This is a John Tyler Christopher cover for issue 3 of Spider-Man 2099. This is also an incentive variant, but this is only 1 in 25 incentive from September of 2014. Estimated print run on this is about half of that Superior book at about 43,000 plus. So when you do the math, though, it's still going to equal out the same because the ratio is half as much as the other as well. So we're still talking about 1,700 potential copies of this one as well. And again, pretty cool cover with the John Tyler Christopher there, and the just the motion and the trade dress, just kind of pretty cool look all through it here. And yeah, again, just nice little texture there going with the cover with some more little hexagons behind there. Census, though, there are very few copies. Only 10 for this one in the census right now. And only 198, 196, 494s, and then a pair of 92s and a pair of 90s. So high grade, it is very, very tough on this. Even out of the 10 that got submitted, there was only 198 out of those 10. That's kind of crazy. But with 1,700 potential copies, there have to be copies out there, right? There's got to be somewhere. Got to be somewhere. But I haven't seen them. But one would think they're somewhere. Listed for sale on this one. Well, there are a few out there. There are a few options. We are looking here at $3,300 for a 9.8, $1,300 asking for a raw, $900 asking for a 9.2, and then 11 watchers for a $216 raw. So, yeah, not cheap, but there are copies. There are copies. Which is going to take us to what actually sold here for our issue. Well, we've got a bunch of sales, actually. We're looking at anywhere from some best offers on $140 to $87 at bid. So this looks like about a $100 raw book for what's actually sold throughout. I don't think I got all of the actual sale prices on those best offers because there's a few, and you get the idea. These are all right around that $100 mark for a raw for what actually sold as recent as December, going back to October for that oldest sale. Which is going to take us to our next book, which is another Spider-Man 2099 book, but this one's a little bit different. This is technically a second printing of Spider-Man 2099 number 1. And this is the same cover as that foil, but without the foil. So it's a white bordered variant for that second print. And this came years later. The first issue, I believe, came out in, 1992 for Spider-Man 2099, whereas this second print issue came out in October of 2001. And the reason why it came through so late is because it came with a toy. This came through with this Toy Biz action figure here, and it was packaged in with it. So you can still find sealed packages of this comic, in with this toy out there. Granted, they are very pricey, but they are out there. Also, that clamshell plastic, it can be unforgiving. It could be bent, and if it's bent, it will hold that bend until the point where it makes sure it puts a deep, deep crease in your comic books. And even in opening it, you have to be very careful in opening this clamshell because it's like almost bomb-proof. You have to get through this thing. You have to get some scissors, and it cuts you. Like, the plastic on this thing is no joke. But that all being said, estimated print run on this, since it's coming from a toy, there is no number. There's no solid number that I could give you on this. So this is a virtual unknown. You just kind of have to ballpark it based on what else you can see out there. And you can see there are plenty of copies in the census. We got 250 total with a wide range of grades. We got 47.98, 77.96s, 53.94s, 24.92s, 29.0s, 16 8.5s, and this goes all the way down to 4.60s. Like, there are 250 copies in the census for this book, so plenty submitted on this one. I guess everybody hoping to get a high grade, but with that white cover and again that unforgiving clamshell, if something were to happen to it, not going to be easy to get a high grade on this thing. But if you want to see what's listed for sale, we're just going to give you some example prices here because there are a lot of copies. A 9.8 is asking $3,000. A toy you can ask still sealed. There's an asking price for $800. A 9.4 is asking $800. Another 9.4 as a buy now price of $650. And yeah, just not a cheap book at all. And if you want to see what's actually sold on this, again, these are just some examples. Best offer accepted on $2,500. A toy, buy it now for $475. The raw comic alone at auction $162.50. And one buy it now for $100 for a raw just of the comic book. And these are just a sampling of those 19 sales, and you can see that 9.8 actually accepted $1,900 there. So definitely a pricey book to be sure, and a pricey toy as well if you could find it. So keep that in mind as well. And then, like I said, 19 sales. There were plenty. I wasn't giving you all of them because that's just a lot of data to go through. But definitely an interesting book to keep an eye out for if you can stumble across one somewhere, and especially if you can stumble across that toy as well. Now, keeping on with this little weirder angle on some of these Spider-Man books, we have a price variant. We're going to go with the Canadian price variant for Amazing 238. First appearance of Hobgoblin. Classic cover, a cover that's been homaged a few times over the years. You can see here, and the way you could tell that this is the Canadian price variant is because if you look at the top, this is priced at 75 cents, whereas the US version is a 60-cent price tag. So that's how you'll tell the difference. 60 cents is the regular US version, 75 cents is that Canadian version, and the Canadian version is a bit tougher to find. March 1983 on this one, so plenty old. Estimated print run, don't have a solid number for you there, let alone the fact that we're talking about the Canadian price variant aspect of this book as well. No idea how many copies are out there. But if you want to look at what's in the census for this, well, we got 231 copies total in the census for the Canadian price variant. Yes, they do break this out. This is a separate subcategory on CGC census, and you can see there are only 10 9.8s, 34 9.6s, 49 9.4s, and 20 of this, 20, a bunch of other kind of mid to low grade, mid to high grade there. So going down to 7.5s, tons of copies, 231 in the census total, but only 10 of them are 9/8. So keep that in mind as well, that the super high grades are pretty tough. Listed for sale on this? Well, we do have one of those 9/8 listed for sale, and they are asking a healthy $10,720.83 out of Canada. 31 watchers too. I think a lot of those are just looky-loos like me that are just kind of curious of what this thing might actually sell for, but none of them are actually probably intending to actually purchase this thing for 10 grand or make an offer on it. Just saying. But then you can see these 9/6s as well. There's a $2,400 one for my comic shop, and then there's a $3,300 one out there as well for 9/6s. And then there's a 9/4 on the market at $1,500. So definitely some copies for sale, including a $1,500 9/2, $870 9/0, and then it looks like a green label 9/2 because it has no tats inside. So that's why this one got a green label, because yes, this book did come included with tattoos, which is something that will increase the value, both the US version or this Canadian version. So keep that in mind as well. And then I think there's also a Mark Jewelers of this as well for those other niche collectors who like to buy those weird little oddities. But we're not going to look at the Mark Jewelers today. We're just doing the Canadian price. And if you want to see what's sold on this bad boy, well, the sales on this are still pretty pricey. $550 with 40 bids for a raw copy. So a lot of action on that raw copy to get it up to $550. And then a 9/2 SS yellow label that looks like it's a CBCS version that went 8 bids for $400, which is not too bad when all things considered. I know it's only a 9/2, but again, these things aren't that easy to find. You can see $550 for that raw. Why not do $400 for a 9/2? Just saying. So that's what we have there for our price variant, which is going to take us to another little subset of oddball books that we have that also came with cassette tapes. Now, before we get into our next book, which is going to be the Sensational Spider-Man #1, I'm going to switch the screen up real fast because I actually do have one of these that I can show you, that I have this particular copy. And it does have, again, you can see this little cassette tape. These came from Camelot, Camelot Music. I don't even know if that company's still in business anymore, but it did come with a cassette tape that's got some, the Ramones on it. And this is a variant cover, too, for this issue as well. A lot of things are saying that there were 1,000 copies made of these, but I have no idea if there's an actual print run on how many of these were actually made. But there were 4 books actually made for this. So this is a cover set that ran across the 4 Spidey titles of the time. But this is the first one we're going to look at. This is Sensational Spider-Man #1. You can see limited edition pack featuring the original Spider-Man theme song performed by the Ramones and a couple other songs from the cartoons there too on that cassette tape. This is issue 1, and this is going to be a top left corner because these things will actually connect as well. As I mentioned, this came from Camelot Music. This was from February 1996. So this was still a ways back print run. I don't have a solid number, but like I said, a lot of places have reported 1,000. I don't know where that number came from, but maybe they did make 1,000 of these. But who knows? I can't say that with any real certainty, but that's a number I did see tossed out there. We look in the census for this particular book. We see there's about 79 copies in there right now with 27 9/8s, 28 9/6s, and then a few others completing that run all the way down to a 6.0 for whatever reason. Somebody submitted a 6.0. I don't know why you would sub a book that beat up for something like this, but hey, who knows? People submit whatever they like. If they want to pay for it, they're free to spend their money how they wish. Listed for sale on this, there are 20 copies available, but here's just a small sampling to give you a broad idea. 9/8 listed for $200, a 9/6 listed for $200, a sealed pack for $50, and then it looks like a loose comic just by itself for $25 to kind of give you a broad ballpark for this particular issue. Because again, this is the #1 issue, so one would think there are more, but again, this might be the limited considering I have the cassette tape, so perhaps it's an equal number across all books, but I can't be certain about that. Again, just some examples of some of the sales. Look, one on November 29th sold Buy It Now for $40, free shipping, and then there was one that was put at auction, ended November 21st with one bid for 99 cents. Again, don't put things up for auction that people aren't looking for because you're going to end up not really getting a return on which is probably your investment. I mean, $1, really. I mean, that thing's worth more than $1. But hey, somebody got it for $1, so that's pretty cool. Congrats to them. That being said, just give you some examples. Some of these things can be found for cheap. If you go and look and are patient, you might find it and scoop it up. Because again, awareness is what I'm trying to spread, so you can keep an eye out for some of this weird stuff. Which is going to take us to our next one in this connecting kind of set, Amazing Spider-Man 408. Again, you can see the cover here is the Mark Bagley cover. Pretty cool. It's got the cassette tape, the Ramones. This is, again, an alternate cover. This is not the same cover that's on the regular edition of this issue. This is for Camelot as well. Again, February 1996. All came out at the same time. Don't know the print run on it, just as before. Looking in the census on this one, there's 119 on this particular issue. 41 9/8, 29 9/6, 24 9/4, and a few others. Again, going all the way down to 6/0. Want to see what's for sale for the ASM book? Well, ASM book's a little pricier. These again are examples. $55 for the raw comic loose, $150 for, it looks like a sealed polybag pack where they're even listing it as only very fine, and then another looks like sealed pack for $199 out there. So pretty expensive on the ASM one, probably just because it's amazing. So amazing will command a little bit of a premium over some of the side Spidey titles because Amazing is kind of the flagship title for Spider-Man. But if we want to see what actually sold on this, well, again, there's a few sales. So here are a few examples. $95 accepted best offer, $29 bids, and $99 buy it now on that one as well. Which is going to take us to issue 3 in our set, Spider-Man 65. This is a John Romita Jr. cover. Again, collector's pack, Camelot, comes with the cassette tape. Same kind of vibe, as you can see, that kind of like a pale white background with part of a spider logo, Spidey inside of it. Amazing alternate cover, Camelot music, February 1996. Don't know the print run. Looking at the census, this thing, we only have 33 copies in the census for this book. This was the Spider-Man run that started with the McFarlane cover, McFarlane #1. So that's what series of Spider-Man this is, with 11 9/8, 12 9/6, and a few others to round out that 33, which is a much smaller number than the last two. Copies listed for sale on this one. Well, this one is also pricey examples, as you can see. 9/6 for $175, but then you got a polybagged asking for $200, and it looks like a raw one that's open that's asking for $150. So pricey asks on this particular one, but hey, you got to work with what's out there, right? Actual sale examples here. One bid for just a loose copy, $10 with one bid, and then somebody bought one still sealed, polybagged for $199.99, so $200. Somebody paid for one of these sealed, which is pretty expensive. Which I think if I have the only one that I have out of these sets, I think I have the cheapest one. And that's probably why I have it, because I found it for cheap. I don't even remember when I bought it. I just remembered I had it, and there it was. And one more. So one more out of this set, and you can see there are a few copies of each of these out there. So they can be found, even though they are odd. Here we go. We got another, this time on Spectacular Spider-Man, issue 231, packed with the Ramones cassette tape, just like the others. This is a Camelot, 1996, February. Print run, we still don't know. We only have that 1,000 guests that I see some people listing them out when they try to list them for sale. This is the least amount in the census, with only 29 copies in the census. 10 9/8, 10 9/6, and then a few others. Copies listed for sale on this one for Spectacular are, again, not too cheap. So whatever reason, I got the cheap one, and the rest of these seem pretty expensive. Where you got a polybag one up for $80, a polybag one up for $150, and then a 9/6 graded for $235 thereabouts. So remember, any ones that are in the slabs are going to be removed from the polybag, and the cassette tape's not going to be included with them. So this cassette tape is probably separate, and I'm not sure what the cassette tape on its own could sell for, but that's probably not too cheap either. But again, these are just some examples of some sales, and if we want to see, examples of what's available. We want to see some examples of what's sold. Well, I think we got these two here. One bid for $17.88. They're on October 2nd from Australia with another $17 shipping. So that's really like a $35 sale. And then $75 one bid on September 20th. So 35 to 80 bucks thereabouts is what this one is actually sold for. And much like our run for covers, these also connect. I'm a sucker for connecting covers. That's why I look into these things. And you can see, I know might be a little blurry, but here we go. That's the connecting cover for this set of 4. You can see the Spider logo kind of in the back with the white, and then yeah, these 4 kind of Spider-Men all just kind of meet together, even though they're all just Peter Parker. I think could have been Ben Reilly at this point. Actually, that looks like the Ben Reilly Spider-Man outfit, but yeah. That all being said, we have one more book to cover, I believe, out of this Spider-Man special, and this is another oddball thing. This is Ultimate Spider-Man issue 40. Now, I know you can probably see right there at the bottom, this is not for resale. So you're probably thinking, oh, this probably got included with some Toy Biz action figure, just like that other one. But no, that's not the case here. This particular issue was only able to be obtained by mailing in UPCs as part of some Frigo cheese giveaway. Yes, this is a cheese variant. You had to mail away UPCs for Frigo cheese. I don't even know what Frigo cheese is, because we don't have that, I don't think, in my area. Or if we did, it's long gone. But you had to mail in like 3 UPCs, and then they would send you this giveaway comic or prize comic or something. This was July 2003. Again, Frigo giveaway, cheese company of some kind. So print run, I don't have a number for you. I don't know how many they made of this cheese comic, but you can see it is an oddball thing, and you could probably guess there's probably not going to be that many. And when we look in the census, well, we got a deuce. We got 2 in the census. We got a single 94 and a single 90 right now for this not for resale edition from this Frigo cheese giveaway. Interesting. Definitely interesting. You would probably think there are no copies of this thing out there, and you'd be wrong. Not that there's a lot, but there are a couple. There's a raw copy out there for 362 bucks. There's another copy out there raw for 200 bucks, and then yet another raw copy that's up there for $2,000 that apparently includes the Frigo cheese letter that you probably got when you got your comic mailed back to you. Probably congratulating you on this winning this prize or something, or some. I didn't read the actual letter, and I do not have this comic, but you can see there in the eBay picture that they have the little prize, little cheese guy there. Looks like it's a mozzarella cheese of some kind. This promo is included on that one for $2,000. I don't know if that makes it worth $2,000 over the $200 you can see here, right under below it. But hey, up to you. How do you want to spend your money if you want to buy this cheese book? But if you want to see what actually sold, well, we unfortunately don't have any sales, so I can't tell you. Now, if you hadn't guessed, going through a lot of these, a lot of them we can't mark these as ghosts because they're copies. Even that cheese book had 3 copies out there. That weird cheese giveaway book had 3 options available for you. So you can probably guess that most of these that we looked at this week, including all those cassette tapes, the Toy Biz card, the 1 in 50s, the 1 in 25s, even the Canadian price that we had in there, and this cheese giveaway, all of these are expensive in most cases, but we're just going to have to call these hard to find. That's the call I got to make on those, just because they're copies. You can have that. If you want to buy it, they're there to be bought. You just got to pay up if you want to own them. So I don't feel comfortable calling those ghosts because they're copies to be had. Whereas our one lone book that I could not find an available copy is the first book we looked at, which was Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man #1, the 1 in 50 Fiona Staples. That one, however, with no copies available right now, at least on eBay, I feel comfortable calling that one our lone ghost book for this week. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments, whether you disagree, you think some of those other books, even if you think the cheese book should be in there as a ghost. I don't know. It's up to you. And if you have any of these books, please feel free to tag me. I'd love to see them. I love seeing these hard-to-find books in people's hands. It gives me hope that I'll be able to find them as well. So tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see what copies you might have. And if you have any suggestions of other books that you think are ghosts or you'd like to see covered on this series, hit me up with a direct message on Instagram. I don't mind. I like talking comics. Hit me up in the comments here on the video. Join in the premiere, the live chat when these drop. I usually try to shoot for 8:30 p.m. Drops for all future videos, and I try to join the chats to be there when they drop for that first time. So feel free to pop in and chat about it, and join the live shows on Wednesday and Sunday here on Rennavision as well. Again, thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate you taking the time and checking out the stuff here on the channel. Hopefully, you are still enjoying everything that we got going on here. I'm enjoying doing all this stuff, and let's keep growing this thing and keep doing some more giveaways and keep talking about some fun comics and pop culture and stuff because that's what we're all here for, right? Anyway, this hobby should be fun, so let's just keep having fun, looking for these tough books, and like I said, share them if you got them. I'd love to see them. And with that, I will see you guys soon with some more content.